Okay, when you go into the blackboard, right, go to your learning resources, go to your CA2 Photoshop image editing. This will be all your T2 assignments, which will be with me. Okay, when you click it, there'll be your Photoshop A3 template, which we are going to use in the future. T2 Photoshop editing and morphing slides. If you click, right, this is the slides that I went through. Like what do you need to bring in, how do you document, what you need to do to take note of, what is the assignment breakdown, what are the 10 most important Photoshop skills for beginners, references, and the weekly tutorials. Okay, do have a look. Right, let me just go back in. Okay, whenever you enter the learning resources, do take note of the weekly uploads, such as this. You want to download the package and practice in Photoshop. So once you upload it and you unzip it, you will have 7 different tutorials to try. Okay, to open up your Photoshop. Okay, hold on, let me find my Photoshop. Okay, take note, let's say for example, if it's 1 and 1, meaning we are going to compose an image with these two visuals, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. Okay, so for image number 1 or visual 1, tutorial 1, right, what we are going to do, we are going to understand colored documents. How do you create ellipse masking tools, and then how do you do a drop shadow? Very simple. Take note, when I do some of the marking, I will take note of your layer naming. Alright, so try as much as possible to name your layers, group them up. It's a good practice. Okay, so let me just close this. Whenever you open Photoshop, right, there's a few ways that you can open files. You can always file open from here, or as easily as just drag and drop. Okay, the next one, if you drag and drop, take note what happened is drop inside the image and it's in grayscale, which we do not want it, right? So undo, Control Z. So if you want to open different visuals, right, what you can do, let me just delete this. You can drag both. Okay, what will happen is that they will open two. Can you see? Or let's say for example you open one, you want to open the other one. What I will do is not to add inside, I will add on top. Can you see the difference? So once I add on top, I can open here. Okay, take note here. One of it is in RGB, the other one in grayscale. That was why when you drop the image in, right? Let's say for example, I just do a quick copy again. There you see, paste. You can see that it become grayscale. We do not want this, right? So what you need to do is that you go to image mode, change it to RGB. RGB is for screen, CMYK is for print. So let's say for example we want to do print. Let's just switch to CMYK. Press OK. So notice it changed to CMYK. If this is CMYK, this you should change to. So let's just go to mode, change to CMYK. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, right, I'm going to share with you basic shapes of how you can cut. The first one is square. What happens when you do this, right, and then you press V, it will straight away cut. You press Ctrl C, Ctrl V on the other one, it will paste while still on your move. Okay, for you to undo, right, when you press Ctrl Z, it will undo once. If you want to undo multiple times, you need to press Ctrl alternate and then together with Z. Okay, Let me just show you. So that is one. Let's say for example you are in this ellipse tool again, right? Notice now you can shift your selection. However, if you are in the move tool, you cannot shift the selection. That's the difference. Okay, within this itself, right? Let's say for example I press Control T. You cannot edit, meaning the selection will just blow it up. Okay. However, if I right click, I free transform, right? Notice there's no changes there. Okay, hold on, yeah. However, if I press transform selection, do you notice the difference? So this is transform selection. Okay, let me just press enter first. This marching end without the dots, right, is selection. When I click right, when I press right click, I press free transform. It's transforming the selection. Okay, escape. However, if I press transform selection, it will then transform my selection box. Okay, as simple as that. So right now, press Ctrl D to deselect. It works the same way with the other tools here. So let's say for example, if you want to mask out the Captain America shield, you should take the ellipse tool. Okay, option A, you can try. It's always at the end of the box, which is about here. Then you drag. Okay, let's say for example, it's about right here. You can always drop. Remember, we are in the selection tool. We can shift it. Okay, got it. So let's say for example, I press Ctrl C. I go here. I Ctrl V. I can paste it. Okay, Ctrl Z just to undo. Do not press the move. If not, it will straight away move your selection and then you will go haywire. However, with this, right, you can also drag and move to the other documents. So there are various ways of working with Photoshop. Okay, you can try both methods and then see which one works best for you. Alright, let me just open it up because okay, what we want to do here. Okay, let's say for example, I want to work with the Captain America and I cannot aim well. I keep aiming, I can't get it to to where the shield is. So to make things simple, right, I can just drag drop. Okay, zoom in. To zoom in, right, to zoom in is control plus or control minus. Alright, to pan, press your space bar, it will pan. However, right, let's say for example, if you cannot pan, take note that your artboard, right, is not fit. Okay, press F. So once you press F, you can see, right, it gives you the whole entire artboard and then you can pan. Alright, you can zoom out. Okay, you can always, let's say for example, oh no, I cannot find where's my toolbars, etc. Right, I can't find where are my other images. I can always press F again. It give me a full screen without my toolbars. Alright, press F again, it will give you most of the items. Alright, so let's say for example now back to the back to the tutorial again. So let's say for example I drop my selection here. Right, I right click, I transform my selection. So from here, right, I can shift my selection to where I want. If you don't press shift, right, it become ellipse. However, Ctrl Z, if you press shift, okay, no, right, hold on. Okay, shift control, right, will give you a shield. Alright, shift alternate will shift alternate or just drag, it will give you that. Okay, what you want to do, right? Let's say for example, you see when I drag one corner, it's not locked. However, when I press shift, now it gives me a uniform scale. Okay, let me just go up again. Press the corner, press shift. Don't forget to press shift. The corner, press shift. Drag it. So, right. So once you got it about right, okay, press enter. Again, we can do a copy paste, or we can take the move tool, directly move it to the other document. Okay, notice, let's say for example now I can double click, I call it shield. So how do I, let's say for example now, right, my shield, oops, let me just show you again. Okay, let's say for example I have this, and then I want to make it smaller. Alright, okay, hold on, yeah. Okay, I can't okay, for me, right, I work best with shortcuts, so it's much easier when I work with Photoshop. Again, as I mentioned, the shortcut button to transform is Control T. Okay, so from here, what you need to do is to just press shift. If you don't press shift, remember, it will not scale uniform. Okay, press shift, drag drop, press shift, drag drop. So maybe I want it slightly rotate. I can just click on the ends here, and then it will change. Okay, again I will show you. So notice this button is scale, but when I go to the side, right, okay, it's a bit hard to see there. If I go to the side, it become rotate. Okay, drag drop. All right, so how do you drop a simple shadow? Okay, you can double click here, right? Once you double click, it will give you a layer style. Is the fastest that you can come up with. Let's say for example, if you cannot find another way to find your layer style, right, it's here. All right, and then press blending option. So what we want is a drop shadow. So you go to drop shadow. Right now you can't see anything because right, it's dropping right behind. So what we need to do, make sure you are in the move tool or what just now, and then drag it. Can you see this brown ellipse tool behind, which is moving? To change color is easy. Just click. Let's say for example we want red. We can just eye drop, it become red. Can you see? But right now it doesn't make sense to be in red. Just click, we want in the black tone. Alright, so let's say for example if my highlight is here, my shadow will be here. Okay, let's take a look. Let's say for example right now my shadow is still a little bit too harsh for me. Alright, so what I can do is I can drop my opacity here. Distance is there. The spread, right? Right. The size will matter. Okay, let me just edit a bit here. Okay, opacity make it bigger. Okay, toggle and try the different buttons here until you get what you like best, which is slightly soft shadow effect. Okay, so once that done, you can always press OK. Save the how do you save Photoshop file? It's quite easy. You can always save as, find the folder that you want to save. Alright, make sure it's in the Photoshop mode. Alright, which is this one. There is a couple of Photoshop. Alright, Photoshop APS, Photoshop APS. You want to save .psd file. Alright, Let's say for example you want JPEG just for sharing. You can always save as JPEG. Okay, I'm just going to show you, let's say for example Photoshop, when you save as, they will ask you to some warning buttons and all. Just press OK. Okay, and then you have it here. Alright, I'm just going to delete. Alright, do try this. Once you are okay with coming out with layer style, shield, background, move on to the next assignment. Alright, a helpful tool, right? Let's say for example your Windows is filled out with recent files. What you can do is to open recent, clear recent list. Alright, so let's open the second. Right, in this second exercise, what we are going to do is to cut an image, distort it, right, and then make it looks like you are having it mounted onto your wall. Okay, so let me just close this up again. Going back, take number 2, drag it out. Okay, take note, now right now we are in RGB mode. So let's say for example you are doing for web upload, just leave it as a RGB. Okay, so right now if you notice, okay, let me just open up the slides, give me a second. Okay, all right, so just now we already done this, right? Selection, transform, rotate, grayscale to CMYK, layer style, drop shadow. The next one, okay, notice that the pictures, there's some frames, so we need I'm going to show you content aware fill, which is very helpful. Or you can do clone and heal. Selection is for these frames. We want to draw it out, cut it out. Okay, transform perspective is to distort this flatly into something into perspective. Drop shadow again is the same as this. Alright, so let's get to it. Okay, right now, right, let's say for example we have this much. Okay, there is a few ways that normally when we start working, right, we would try. Let's say for example we want to do the clone stem. I can always press alternate, right? Alternate will sample, and then you can press. It will directly clone whatever that you press. So depending on, let's say for example I clone this one, I press here, I clone again, I press here, I clone again, I press here, I clone again, I press here, clone. Alright, you can follow this method, but take note, once you hit here, right, it will clone the excess, alright, or the base layer. Okay, just now was clone. There is another tool that I want to share. Hold on here. Okay, you can do spot healing too. Okay, but before I do spot healing, right, let me just share with you healing brush. So healing brush, right, is similar to what we have just now. Okay, let's say for example this, right, this will try to uh, clone and heal. Alright, what healing does, right, is actually to it's a bit hard to show here. Let's say for example if I have this, right, okay, can you see the difference? Let's say for example this versus a clone stem which I take. Alright, can you see the difference, what a clone stem does and then what a heal, okay, hold on, yeah, what a healing brush does. So let's say for example right now, right, I can do, yeah, so either or, um depending on what your need is lah. And then you can try the various tool. Alright, sometime for me, right, I use patch also. Let's say for example this one. Okay, I want to just patch it, drag and drop. Okay, notice, let's say for example if I drag and drop here, right, it will try to patch and then match the selection. Undo, or I can just pick at the side here, and then notice that it try to match or patch quite close to what I want. So I can do this. Okay, just drag behind here. Okay, notice too much, right? Or because why? It's trying to patch and then match the environment here. Okay, so it might not work, let's say for example on a bigger scale, but let's say for example at a smaller one, right, it works perfectly. Okay, so I already shared clone, heal, and then patch. So let's say for example the other tool. Okay, let's say for example I choose lasso. Okay, let's work with lasso, it's quite fun. So what lasso does, right, you need to eyeball where you want. Let's say for example I want to lasso all this up. However, I suddenly forget. Alright. So now I close. Okay, imagine let's say for example I my I got shaky hands lah basically, okay? And then I didn't get to select what I want to select. Okay, do not go anywhere. Okay. When you press shift, notice it become a plus at my mouse cursor. When I press alternate, it become minus. So when I press minus, I drag, it will minus out my selection. However, when I press shift and then I select, it will add. Okay. So no worries, yeah. So if some of you have shaky fingers, you cannot get to select what you want, the always add and minus after that. Okay. So what I want to share here, right? Content aware. You need to right click, go to fill. Okay, do not select foreground color. Foreground color is this one, yeah. Let's say for example, background color will be white, foreground is red. What we want is content aware. Content aware will try to match your background. Okay, mode 100, leave it, and then let's see what Photoshop will give you. That is about quite close to cleaning it up. So let's say for example the balance here, right? What I can do, I can just click, hold on, and then patch it, maybe here. Can you see? Okay, patch it. Okay, let's say for example those of you, you cannot see your, okay, hold on, yeah. If you cannot see your selection tool, right, you probably have pressed hide, the shortcut for hide, which is Control H. Okay, notice Control H, right, will hide, unhide. Okay, just that. Okay, let's say for example we now want to patch the balance part. So that is about right. We can clean up the wall. Okay, this is just for illustration purposes. Okay, go back to here. Now I want to show you, let's say for example I already shared with you the lasso tool. Okay, polygon tool, right? Okay, what polygon tool does, right, is that, hold on, let me just double check which tool here. Okay, polygonal lasso. So within polygonal lasso, right, let's say for example I want you to do a quick selection here to practice. Okay, wherever you click, right, will be the point that you drop your so-called mouse. If you cannot see, right, do enlarge it, right? Control plus to enlarge. Okay, select somewhere in quite inside. Okay, I will show you the painful method first, and then we can move on to the slightly much more advanced masking tools. Alright. This is just to get you guys comfortable with the navigation and all, the button and all. Okay, again, Spacebar to pan, click, move it. Okay, click and drop. Let's say for example, you accidentally press too much. You can press delete to undo once. Okay, drag, drop, drag, drop. Okay, give me a second, yeah. Let me just finish this up. Okay, you want to cut slightly inside. Okay, hold on, yeah. Just for training purposes. Okay, make sure when you close. Okay, this is what I want to share. When you close, right, there's this small little button there that show is close. So once it close, right, you will get that selection tool. Okay, so it's the same here. Let's say for example, oh, I cut it too far out, right? I want to add more. I can press shift to add. Okay, go down. Let me add this portion here. Close it. Okay, so from here again, just now we drag and then copy to the other one, right? So right now we want to try copy. Control C, come to here, Control V. You notice it's too big, right? Okay, rename, double click again. Let's call it collage. Okay, press V, shortcut V to go to move. Okay, notice it's too big, right? Press Control T to open your transform. Press Shift to transform it uniformly, right? So let's say for example now you have already transformed it. Okay, again slightly smaller. Okay, maybe this is just about right. Okay, notice the perspective right now is too flat. It's a flat lay shot, right? You need to tweak it into perspective, right? What we mean by that, right? Let's say for example, okay, oops, let me just do it as a shape. Let me just show you. So right now, right, your image is something uh, in this geometric square shape. So what we need to do is that we need to make it perspective. Okay, we need to shift it and then make it perspective so that it will match the environment. Basically that. Alright. So let me just delete this again. In the collage layer here, right? Press Ctrl T. There is few methods that you can do. One is the free transform method, like what I pressed just now, right? I press Ctrl. I can edit whichever point I want. Okay. I right click again, right? I want to skew. I can skew it. Alright, right click again. Distort is the same as free transform. Warp, right? Warp, what it does is that it try to warp within the guiding boxes. Okay, escape. Control T again. What I want is the perspective tool so that it will give me a sense of perspective. Right? Okay. If it's too much, go back to your free transform. Distort a bit. Okay. To try, let's say for example, make sure it doesn't look that weird. Okay. So when you have the perspective just about right, let me make mine slightly exaggerated so that you can see. So the next step for this, right, is actually to create a sense of thickness here. Okay. So again, the same thing. It's not the best of visual, but uh we want to share with you more tools. Yeah. Again, double click will give you this, or go to your layer style, drop shadow. Okay, notice right now it's just too huge, right? What happens is that the spread is too much, and the size of it, right, is too big. Okay, so for this, right, we just need to drop it slightly, drag it slightly below here to give it a sense of thickness, and that's it. Yeah. Okay, multiply, you can leave it. Let's say for example opacity you want more, right? Just increase. Okay, don't forget to save. Okay, exercise 3, right? We are going to place an object into an environment, which is very helpful for us product designers, because why, whenever we cut out or sketch out an idea, right, we need to always put it into the context to visualize its environment. Okay, so notice here, right, let me just switch off. Okay, pro tips also, right? Let's say for example you want to hide, you don't want to see, right? There's one way, you can always click and drag. Okay, it will straight away uh it will straight away open up, close. Okay, it works the same way. All right, can. Okay, so this one is a layer normal. Let me just see. This is opacity 19. All right, this is to remove the glasses. Okay, let me just close this. Find number 3, open both. Okay, let me just open up this one also. So inside here itself, right, content aware field, clone and heal. We are going to use that, right, to remove the specs here. Under the selection magic wand, we are going to clean up the selection for the headphone. Okay, transform flip vertical is to get the reflection. Layer opacity is to reduce. Okay, so right now, let me just show you. Let me clean this up, yeah. Okay, let's try the. Okay, let me find my lasso 2. Okay, let me try to. Okay, maybe I can show you another one more quick nifty tool. I already show you polygonal lasso tool, right? Let's say for example we want to do quick masking. All right, masking. Another way, right, could be, let's say for example when I press Q. Okay, notice what happened here, right? RGB switch to quick mask. When I in my quick mask and I change my brush mode, it's black here, right? But when I paint, it becomes pink. Okay, when I exit, right, when I press Q again, it will become a selection mode. All right, so let's say for example, let me undo, let me make it smaller. It only works with black and white. If it's a gray, right, then it will mask 50%. Okay, depending on the colors also. So it's a good base to work with black and white. Okay, let me just do a quick one. Okay, another helpful tool, right? Let's say for example right now it's not uh it's not a black. Okay, it's a color. Can you see, right? Right now it's a color, right? When I exit my quick mask, what I can do is I press hold on, yeah. Okay, I can press this one. Okay, hold on, yeah. Let me just show you a quick one. Okay, hold on. Let me show again. Now right now it's a red, right? Okay, hold on. Let me exit, deselect. Okay, notice here, right? For you to get a default color, your shortcut button is D. Once you press D, notice the red here turn to black. Okay. RGB, let's go back to quick mask mode, and then let's paint it over. Paint over where we want the selection to be. Let's say for example this is the selection that we want. Okay, that's it. Okay, take a look at the mask, the selection. Where is it right now? Okay, right now it's selecting too many things, right? To inverse the selection, alright, Control Shift I. Notice, let me Control Shift I again. Okay, notice my ends, right now, let's say if I paint, it's painting outside. Okay, undo. What if I want to just delete the content here? I need to inverse my selection, right? Okay, hold on, yeah. Hold on. Alright. To inverse, right? What you can press is to press Control Shift I. Okay, notice my ends is inside already. When I press my brush, it's brushing inside. Okay. So once I'm inside here, right? I can always do a hold on. Okay. Make sure I'm in the selection mode. I can always do a quick fill, content aware. Let Photoshop read the environment and then decide what to fill in. Okay, it's kind of about close to something which is quite good enough, right? So now we can always do a let's see. I'm a big fan of patch. You can try healing also if you want. Okay. So let's say for example here, let me just patch it. This one, let me patch over here. Okay, give me a second, yeah. Let me just patch things up. Okay. It will take a while more. Okay, something about right. Oops. Okay. Yep. This is something quite fast for me just to show you. Okay. If you want something much more proper, you can always go into the fine details, make this even better looking, right? This is just something fast to visualize. Let me go back. Okay, so once we clean up this background, right now we need to remove the headphone from this white background. What I'm going to share with you, another new tool, right, is the Magic Wand tool. Okay, Magic Wand will work based on your tolerance level here. Let's say for example tolerance 1. I select. Notice the tolerance will select, and then because it's quite low, right, it doesn't sample the background. Let's change to 10. Select again. Can you see the selection now close up here? Okay, let's say for example I increase my tolerance. Okay, let's do a quick selection again. It's getting even tighter. Okay, let us do a 30. Select again. It's got even tighter than before. 50. Okay, notice right now it's very tight. It's sampling having even the shadows here. Okay, zoom in. Right. Let's say for example, just now I already shared with you quick mask, right? Press Q. You can see where it's masking now. The one in red, right, is the one it's masking. Okay. So let's say for example I want to plus this one. I can always press shift. Okay, see, the shift will add, alternate will minus, shift, add it in, click add it in. Alright, add it in. Okay, let me just show you a quick one. Press Q. See, notice night round is selecting everything including the interior. Exit my quick mask. I want to add the inside also. Okay, quick mask right now is selecting my headphones only, which is what I want. All right, Control C. Okay, hold on. Yeah, let me just change to move. Control C. Go back to the background. Control V. Okay, what happened? It copy the background instead of my headphone. Okay, go back. Okay, remember the selection tool just now we were sharing? That's why it's selecting the background. Can you see the marching ants here? The selection is selecting outside. Okay, how do you inverse? Control Shift I. That will inverse. Okay, Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Okay, so right now I just place where I want it to be, maybe about here. Let me just see a quick one. Yep, maybe about here. We'll do Control T to adjust my transformation. Okay, right now I have this, right? I need to do my reflections. Okay, how do I copy this? Alright, I can Control C, Control V. That will copy. Alright, but it will copy at a different so-called position. What if I want to copy right below? Alright, right below, meaning the same spot itself. I can press Control K. Okay, notice you see here? It's directly below. Okay, so this one I will call it my headphone. This one I will call it cancel. Oops. Call it reflection. Okay, typo error. Okay, so right now I press Ctrl T, right? I want to mirror. Can I do a flip? Oops, wrong one. Can I do a flip vertical and then just drag drop maybe about here? Okay, because of the reflection, I need to tilt it slightly a bit. Okay. Okay, let's say for example, if your headphone, right? Notice right now the layer isn't right. You need to go below. What happens is that the layers work. It will show you the top first, followed by the bottom and the last one. Alright. So if you want it to be reflection mode here, right? You cannot have your reflection on top of your body. Okay. Let me undo. So right now I have that. Let's just drop to 19. Okay. So now you can see, let's say for example, the headphone, right? It looks like it's sitting onto a table which has a high reflectivity. Okay. The reason why I remove the glasses, right, is that whenever you have your product shot, right, you want to have it slightly on the back which doesn't disturb. Okay. There's something with a plain background that can show your product as the hero inside the shot. Okay, let's say for example now you press your headphone, you want to move. The reflection doesn't follow, right? What you can do is to press shift, click. Notice right now both are highlighted, you can move. Or once you select both, right, you can also press Ctrl G to group them. So once you select, right, they will move as a group to wherever you want. Okay, that's about right. Do try the tools that I share. If you have any question, right, do ask, clarify before moving on the next assignment. In this assignment, we are going to cover a much more advanced selection tool. We will work with the pen tool, alright? And then how can you see the rubber bands and then adjust the anchors? Use your pen tool as the masking tool, okay? It will look something like this, alright? It doesn't have to be the same way. But notice here, right? There is the watch here, and then there is the mask here. Let's say for example, if I disable, you can see the entire image. If I enable, right click enable, you can see. Okay. If I double click this, right, it will enter the uh, select and mask. Okay. How can you see the masking tool? You can left click here, right, and then go to overlay to see. Right now it's masking the whole watch here. Alright. Let me just close this up, cancel. Okay. Make sure you open up both files. Okay. Okay, for this file, right, it's easier for me to, okay, let me just take a look at the file. Okay, what I can do, right, I can work with this shape first, a big shape, alright, and then I can copy my pen tool beside here to cover, and then create another one to cut it out. Okay, it might be confusing. Okay, no worries. Okay, my pen tool, right, is, hold on, let me just find. Okay, it's here. Make sure you are not in shape mode. Alright, here, change to path. Okay, let me see. Alright. Okay, rubber band is here. Later I will show you what is the rubber band mode. Okay, can you see right now? Let's say for example, I press here, I press here. I won't know where my pen is, right? But if I click here, right, I press rubber band. Can you see right now? I can straight away tell where my pen tool is. Okay, let me just delete. So make sure have your rubber band switch on here. So it's much easier for you to see your starting point. Okay, I'm just going to show you a quick one. It might not be accurate. Okay, so let's say for example, do not, oh, hold on, let me just show you another. Do not go sorry. Okay, do not go trigger happy, meaning, oh, a bit here, a bit here, a bit here, and then when you close to an object, right, and then you go clicking uh like you're playing an arcade game, yeah. All right, do not do that. Okay? So for your pen tool, right, it's the same. You can always do Control Z to undo, or Control Alternate Z to undo more. All right. As much as possible, keep your lines and pen work clean. Okay. So let's say for example here. Okay, I want to close this. Okay, notice right now my rubber band is showing here, right? And then it become a dip. Control Alternate Z. I can I can close this anchor point by pressing Alternate. Okay, notice here, alternate, close it, and then I can move it again. Right? Can draw my tools here. Oops. Okay, sorry. I can move my tools here. I can move another pen here. Okay, slightly close. Okay. I can close here. Open one more here. Close. Right. Somewhere about here will do. Okay. And then I will try to end here. Okay. So let's say for example you have already click, and then you cannot see where your path is. Do not panic, right? Go to here where your path is, click. Alright. Oops. Okay, it might lag a bit, yeah. Okay, if let's say for example you can't see, right, what I would normally do, right, let's say for example, let's go back to layers. Okay, path. Okay, I would try to press, okay, either my move tool or my direct selection. Okay, direct selection is here. Okay, which is another shortcut button will be A. Okay, when you press V, right, it'll be a move tool. Can you see? When you press A, it become a direct selection. What's the difference? So let's say for example within your path work here, when I press, right, okay, the current layer select is background. You cannot move a background layer. Oops, cancel. Go back here, right? Because right now we are at the background layer. We must add a new layer. Go back to your path, and then you can adjust. Okay, let me just, okay, notice there's not much changes here, right? Okay, go to your path tool. Okay, so you can't move. Okay, use this tool here, right? Path selection tool. You can adjust. Okay, but I can't adjust my points. I need to click my direct selection tool. Shortcut will be A, and then from here I can adjust my path. Let's say for example, I can even use my arrow button on my keyboard, okay, and then try to get it even as close as possible to what I intend it to be. Okay, let me just see. Okay, you can press your keyboard together with a shift to move it 10 times more than the incremental jump. Alright. Okay, so let's say for example now, yep, it's about just right to where I want. Okay, right now, right? Okay, let me make the edge longer so that you can see. Okay, to make my work even faster, right? I can always select this. Oops, change to path selection. Path selection I can move, right? So I copy, Control C, I paste. Alright. So from here, right, I can notice what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to transform. But when I transform, right, can I then flip horizontal? Once I flip horizontal, right, it's a mirror image. When I get my mirror image, right, I can directly apply. Okay, right now the watch itself is not a direct mirror image, so it's okay. I can use whatever tools that the pen works that I have here to quickly touch it up. Yeah. Okay, notice it's quite fast, right? Okay, notice it's still not close. So go back to my pen tool, press P. Okay. Okay, notice when I'm near, right, the pen tool become snap to the end. Okay. Okay, press alternate to close one side. Okay. And then when I want to join, okay, notice when I want to join, right, it give me a so-called a blend curve, because why, there is still an anchor there is still a anchor point here, right, with the so-called sides. So what I need to do is to close it up, close the anchor point by pressing alternate and then snap it. Okay, you can see. Again, let's work on the end here. Press alternate, click, and then close it up. Okay. Let me try to find my path selection tool. Okay. So right now it's working as a path. So how do I select my pen now? Alright. From this path here, right, there is this 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's a load path as a selection tool. So just press. Right now it become a selection tool, right? Go back to your layer. It's not on this layer. Go to your background here, right? You can then copy or do a quick mask if you want. Go to your background and then paste. Okay, move it. So notice right now my swatch is there already, right? However, it's missing the so-called knob. Okay, delete. Go back to here. Deselect path. Let me call this path body. Okay. I'm going to add a new one here. Alright, I'm going to call it path knob. Okay. Under the knob here, right? Okay, let's just zoom in. Okay, pen tool. Okay, let's just do a quick one. Okay, you can fast forward if you want to. Okay, let's say for example it's too far, right? I can nudge it by. What I mean by nudge it, right? Let's say for example too far. I can still press my arrow button on my keyboards to move it to where I want. Okay, closing it. Okay, let me just make it slightly bigger so that it's easier to see. Okay, inside here, right, doesn't have to be neat, because why? We are going to use this and then combine this with this, right? Okay, let me just change to direct selection tool. Oops. Okay. Let me just do some little quick adjustment here and there. Okay. Give me a second, yeah. Okay. So right now we have two. Let's say for example, I select my path body, right? And then I go to my knob here. I can right click and then make selection, right? Under make selection, I can add selection or make it new selection or subtract or intercept. I want to add selection. So notice right now, right? It's selecting the body together with the knob. Okay. So we can always go back to the layer, copy C, right? We can always do a paste. And then there you have it. Okay. Just now how it works, right? Let's say for example, I'm here, right? I want to do a quick mask for this, right? I press this button here and then it become a layer mask. Meaning right now, right? Let's say for example, if I add a layer below, I can throw whatever color I want. Let's say a quick button for gradient would be paint bucket would be G. You notice right now, right? That it's I'm not erasing, alright? I'm not deleting anything. I can still have it, alright? Let's say for example here, right? Oops, cancel. Okay. Because right now, right? I'm at my image. I'm at my mask. At my mask here, right? Let's say for example, if I do a brush mode, right? Remember, it must be black and white, right? Okay, notice, hold on, yeah, image. Okay, notice right now, right? What happened? It's showing or it's removing the mask and then showing the image. Undo. Let's say for example, I take black. Okay, so black, right? You can see whatever which is in black, it will mask, right? Okay, can that is something quick for me to share about masking. Okay, let me just go here, drop, press V. Let's move it somewhere, maybe about here. Always remember, in composition, sometimes you want a sense of asymmetry at times. Okay, try the pen tool. It's not as easy. You might get confused. Just raise up your hands, right? We will go to you and help you. Okay, for this session, right, our cover selection magic wand is the same tool previously, but I'm going to cover refine edge. Refine edge is the old tool. Okay, so currently what Photoshop CC does, right, it replaces refine edge with select and mask. So some of you might still have refine edge on your Photoshop, some of you might have select and mask. All right, I'm going to show you the new tools here. Okay, it's going to be a fun exercise. You can use the same one as practice. Okay, then choose any celebrity that you like and then put it on the foreground. Okay, so this exercise is what we call Photoshop battle. Okay, let me just try to find something here. Okay, so within Photoshop battle, right, they will, okay, so let's say for example this one, right, German Shepherd on Ice, Photoshop battle, right, all the designers will so-called pitch their ideas, right, Photoshop, and then come up with interesting visuals. So so this website shows you the top winners, right? So let's say for example like this image, right? Photoshop battle. They will crop and then make it funny. Okay, such as this, change to this. So with Photoshop, right, you can do a lot of things, right? Let's say for example this hawk, right? You can even Photoshop wearing some blinks necklace and all. This bear, you can even put clothes and a book to him. All right, this lima. Okay, so there's many different version. Okay, so let's say for example right now my example, right, I'm using Jessica Alba with my own picture. Okay, what I want to see you guys do, right, is find an image, right? Mine is just as a practice, right? Just find an image, copy it out, put it inside an image with you inside, and then share with us, right? Okay, so I set up the Padlet here. So inside this Padlet, right, you go to padlet.com slash nashd slash vc1 underscore 2017. Alright, and then upload your images. Make sure you put in your name and min number. Okay, I'm just going to share you what they done last year. So from here, right, I can do a quick sharing session. Okay, okay, do try after that, and then you can upload. If you forget the link, I will paste it after this video. Okay, so upload the images and all. Okay, hold on. So I run through hold on, yeah. I run through ellipse, I run through lasso, polygon, yep. I run through hills and all shapes. Okay. When it comes to masking out hairs, right? Especially things like this, right? It's very difficult. Okay. So you need this refine edge or select and mask, which is the new tool. Okay. So what we are going to do is that we are going to make a rough selection. It don't have to be really tight. Something along the edges will do. You just go slowly if you are not confident. Okay. Again, if you miss out anything, you can always press shift to add, alternate to minus. Oops. Okay. And then you can keep building it up. Okay. Once you are confident with your selection tool already, you can always build it up, right? Okay. Okay. Let's say for example, yes, I'm happy with this. Okay, maybe just a bit more touch up here. So once you're happy with your selection, right, go to select and mask, which is here. Okay, older Photoshop version refine edge is also here. Okay, once you press, right, there's a few variant. Overlay will show you where it's masking now. The new one that I want to share with you is the onion skin. Okay, within 100%, right, this is what we crop, which is not the most nicest one, right? It's a bit hard. So onion skin will show you what is the original layer. Okay, so if we zoom in, right, we need to get these two, okay, inside the item. So what we can use, right, this is the quick selection, refine edge tool, brush tool, lasso tool. Okay, take the refine edge tool. Okay, okay, notice here if we go slowly, okay, it will make Photoshop read. Okay, and then they will try to get what you want. Okay, okay. I will cover the hair, which is the difficult portion normally. Okay, you can go through slowly, go through a couple more times. Okay, get as much hair you need. Okay, then I will show you the magic soon. Okay, we find it. Let Photoshop do its work. Calculate what is needed. Okay, I need the first here. Okay, I need my first here. So on, refine age. Okay. Alright, Photoshop did a really neat job here. I will show you the magic in a while. Okay, refine it. So those areas which you kind of miss, you can always use the brush tool and then do a quick touch up. Okay, zoom out. Okay, within this transparency, you can see right now at 100% is like that. So right now we already kind of capture quite a good volume. Yeah. Okay, let's say let me just use my brush tool. Okay, make it slightly bigger. Capture. I want to capture my clothes a bit more. Okay. Okay. This worked really well with hairs now. I'm just going to show you real soon. Hold on here. Let me just paint over the more of the hair. Okay. Okay. Oops. Too much. Undo. Okay. Let me just get as much as possible details. Okay. Don't worry. Go slowly if you want to. Okay. So selection will do a selection. The quick mask. Right. What I will normally do, I'll put it to a new layer with layer mask. Press OK. You can try with all this button. It will give you slightly more so-called smart radius. Okay, let me just show you what it does. Okay, so let's say for example, take a look at here, right? The more you go, right, the more blur it becomes. The selection will be. Can you see the difference between a high and a low? Okay, it works the same way. Smooth, feather, contrast. All right. So the best way is actually to do a quick selection, do a refine brush, right? Then new layer with layer mask. Okay. You can always try whether it does any big changes with the decontaminate colors. So for my right, I can see quite a few difference. I would not click it, alright, and then I will click my new layer with layer mask. Press OK. Okay, notice mm, notice here, right? From what was here, right, now become a new layer with layer mask. Let me just drop a layer here on top. I drop in a pin bucket. Okay, I can still touch this portion up. Let me just go to here, right, which is my mask here. Okay, let me just take my brush tool. Okay, oops. Okay, black is to mask, right? I don't want to mask. Okay, inverse white. Okay, let me just paint this over. Oops. Okay. Okay, can you see? Right now I'm just trying to brush a few more of my furry clothes in. Okay, you can still adjust your masking. Let's say for example it looks really harsher, meaning okay, just now my oops, hold on, yeah. Okay, I can just use my quick brush tool. Okay, let's say for example too much, right? I can just use my brush to brush it out. Press shift to press shift to make it a straight line, meaning let's say for example I click here, right? I click here, there's nothing change. I click here, it become a curve, right? But what if I click here? At this point, right, I press shift and then drop. It become a straight line. At this point, I press shift, click, drop. I press shift, click, drop. It become triangle. Rather than I try to manually get that triangle. Okay, so what if you press shift? Can you get a much more control line? Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to use shift to clean up this portion here. Okay, but the main thing about refine edge is not this one. All right, you want to take note that, or if you can see here, it gets really okay. Press X. Okay, let me just get the hair. Can you see the hair? Okay, I can always take this control. Okay, pro tip again. Let's say for example we want to do a quick selection change of color. I can do hue and saturation. Shortcut button, control U. Okay, notice with a change of color, right? The hair is being masked to really fine. All right. So it's really a good tool. Let's say for example you want to bring or you want to Photoshop let's say for example a human with hair, right? Okay. So do try. I'm using Jessica Alba, and then I use this stock image to get a hand here. All right. So notice here, right? The fingernails. There's the line here. I touch up every single thing. Let's say for example, I want this to be touch up, right? I can always do a patch tool again, if you remember. Patch tool is my favorite tool. Okay. Can you see? It's very fast. Patch tool. Okay. Go down. Done. I clean up this portion. This here. Done. Clean up. So I can do a quick so-called touch-up of stock images that I want to use as a communication tool. Alright, then it's quite fast. So I use this stock image, and then I use Jessica Alba here, right, to make this. Okay, so you guys can try any image that you want to. Okay, for this assignment, right, we are still using the selection magic wand. We find each the new one as I mentioned just now, select and mask. Okay, and then we are trying to create a slightly a huge humongous creature here over a city, right? Make sure you must, and then make sure you get the character inside. All right, so let's say for example, let me show you my the work process, right? Let's say for example here, I can do a refine edge here, or copy C, control V here, right? Paste. Let me do a quick masking here. Okay, enter. Let me reduce my opacity here a bit, so that, oops, too much, so that I know where my pet is. So let's say for example I want it to terrorize somewhere above, maybe here. Okay, later on we can still adjust. Okay, so right now again as shared, so with the quick selection tool, right, or the lasso I would call it. Okay, do a quick selection. Let's say for example here, something fast. Okay, okay, oops, I miss out. Okay, once you have what you want, let's say, let me just cut out a bit more here, too much. Okay, let me add here. Okay, shift to add, alternate to minus. Okay, you can still adjust as much as you want. Okay, once you're done, quite happy with your selection, press select and mask. Okay, remember the onion skin thing, right? Okay, hold on, yeah. Okay, oops, With this onion skin with another layer below, right? It's quite, let's say for example at 100% this is what we get, which is really horrible. Okay, so switch on your uh, onion skin. Okay, get a certain percentage of transparency. Switch to refine edge. Okay, okay. Adjust your brush tool and then refine. Okay, and then see, and then you just sit back and relax and then see what Photoshop does. It's really a powerful tool, right? Yeah. Okay. You can see right now I'm just pulling, getting more of the higher textures out. Okay, getting the ears textures. Okay, pulling it out. Okay, this portion here. Okay, getting more hairs. Okay, at any point of time, if you think there's too much, right, you can always do a quick undo, which is Control Z. Okay, once I'm happy with it, right? Again, new layer, layer mask. Press OK. Then you have it, right? You see this here, right? Is neatly masked out. Okay. Apart from this, yeah. Okay, let me just undo. Oops, never mind. Control Z. Oops. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on, yeah. I need to repeat the process again. Okay, those part which you can pull it out from the image, just pull it out, yeah. Okay, those that you can't capture, you can always use the brush tool to get the details out. So let's say for example, let me reduce. I can get more details out here. Okay, here I can get more details out. Okay, I can get more details here. Once done, new layer with layer mask. Okay, notice that it didn't capture well here, right? Because why? I I did rush that portion up. So what I can do, right? Go to my mask here, press brush, and then brush. Remember, white is to show, black is to hide. So let's say for example, I want to show more of this. Okay, inverse, get my black to hide more of this. Okay, don't worry, later it will be hidden. Alright, so this is just about right. So let me hide this portion. Let me go to my background layer. So inside here itself, right, I can I cannot have the I cannot have my pet hamster floating around with no limbs, right? I need to so-called make him merge into the background. Okay, so what I can do here, right, is that okay, go to my layer one. Okay, always a good practice to name it path. Okay, let me call it city. Okay, press P for the pen mode. Let's say for example, okay, let's zoom in a bit. Okay, I want my hamster to be behind this building here. I'm just going to do a quick selection on it, yeah. When you guys do this assignment, please do take some effort to trace it out. Okay, I'm just going to show you what can you do with the tools. Okay, let me just, okay, I'm just at the third building. Okay, make sure when you trace it out, the building is near to each other. It's not like you crop this building and then you crop the one at the furthest end. Okay. Okay, so let's say for example I'm nearly about there. Give me a second more. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me just close this up. Okay. So let's say for example now, if I switch on my hamster, that my hamster need to be behind here. So what can I do, right? Is that let's say for example right now, okay, deselect the path by clicking anywhere here. Okay, go back to the layer, move to. I want my hamster to go slightly higher. Don't worry about the bottom here, because why? I can go to my mask, brush, black to height, and then just mask it out, the balance here. Okay. So right now, let's say for example, this cityscape area, right? We can just do a quick selection. Go back here. I can option A. Okay. I can mask it behind here. Okay. Notice how I'm working with one of the masks here. So that let's say for example when let's say for example now I move. Can you see it's moving with the cityscape? However, right, let's say for example once I click here, I unlink, my hamster can then, can you see it's moving? But because it's here itself, right, it's there's a refined edge going on. I cannot move him and then move him around. Alright? But you have the certain idea that within the mask itself, right? Okay, let's say for example now I move my mask. Okay, the cityscape and the mask is moving, right? But not the image. Okay, so take note, you can click here to unlink and then link. Alright, so try this assignment. You can make it more fun. Okay, so let's say for example right now, to me, right, this is what I done. What I think was lacking was that the hamster need two eyes, right? So I copy, I paste, we scale it. Okay, I did some liquify. Okay, can you notice here? And then here, slightly smaller smile than this, and then the hamster has thumbs up. Where do I get that thumbs up? I go Google. Yeah, I go Google, I crop this guy, and then I pass it to my pet. Okay, how do you liquify? Let me just do a quick sharing. Okay, under here itself, right? Let's say for example, okay, much visible. So, oops, hold on, yeah. Okay, oops, cancel. Never mind. Okay, once that done, okay, let me just do a quick copy so that I'm not disturbing the original one. I go to filter, liquify. Okay, inside here itself, right? Liquify is quite a powerful tool for ladies. Yeah, let's say for example, your you want your picture to show more tone. All right, you can always tone up. All right. So inside here itself, there's the forward warp. There is the tool which I don't really use. I use Pucker and forward warp more. Okay. So within here itself, I like to use a bigger tool. The reason why is that when it goes small, it looks really weird. But when it goes big, right? Okay, I can then adjust. Hold on, yeah. I can then adjust. Okay, can you see? Let's say for example, I want to give it slightly that very weird smile. Okay, So I can do that too, meaning I can slowly push up where I want. Okay, right now with the trend, I want my hamster to have a really sharp nose. Okay, if I want a sharp nose, right, I can then pucker it up, okay, as the icon suggests. Can I pucker it up? Can you see? Small, small nose. Okay, bloat will just bloat and then give the eye a very. Okay, you can see, right, the idea of a bloat. Okay, let's bloat the eye a bit more, okay, to give that really, really dreamy eye look. Okay, a little bit weird, yeah, but yeah, you get the idea. Oops. Okay, so you can play with the bloat, pucker, warp. Okay, let me just show you a quick one some more. Okay, I can still warp. Okay, and then press OK. So imagine, let's say for example, the difference between this and previous, this and previous. So have fun with this. All right, let your pet hamster loose. If you want to add airplanes here, helicopters, flames, try. Okay, and then save and submit. Okay. Okay, for this assignment, right, tutorial 7, I'm going to show you actually healing and cloning, or filter Gaussian blur. Either way, right, to actually clean up so-called textures and surfaces, right? So let's say, for example, you shot an image, right? It works for portrait, it works for products too, right? Let's say, for example, you took your product and then there's a lot of bumps, scratches, etc. How do you clean it up? All right. So again, I'm just going to do a quick recap. Okay, let me find my clone tool. Okay, clone tool. So let's say for example, I can select this and then oops, wrong side. I can select this and then I can clone it up, clone to cover, clone, clone to cover. Okay, notice I'm taking and then patching it up. Alright, so I can use that, or depending on your preference also, right? Let's say for example, let's go to the healing brush. Okay, can I heal it? Okay, healing will okay, this is a good spot to show you. Okay, let's say for example clone, right? If I take from here, it's a copy. Alright, see ya. Again, let me just undo. Right now I want to clone this to here. It's a direct cloning and copy. But let's say for example if I do a healing, okay, I take the same exact spot, right, and then I get this inside. Can you see there's a difference? I can take this, it will heal the area, right, and then follow, let's say for example, the base that I ask it to reference. So when you shoot portrait and all, right, when you shoot portrait and all, sometimes cloning helps, sometimes cloning doesn't. So depending on the context or the problems that you have, right? I would touch I would touch some portion here later. So let's say for example, removing blackheads and all. So I did touch the one at the top. So most of it we are using a lot of so-called heal. Again, my favorite tool, as I mentioned, let's say for example patch. Okay, just drag drop spots that you want to cover. It works the same way as the so-called heal. Okay, so I can just take quite fast. Okay, hold on, yeah. Let me just change again to my healing brush. Okay. Oops. Okay. Oops. Too much. Okay. You notice I'm slowly cleaning up all the areas, all the marks and all. Always click. Always alternate reference and then click. Okay. Let me just switch off this portion here so that you can see. So this was before, and then this was after. Okay. Let me just do a quick selection first so that you can see. Let me just close this up so that it's not confusing to you. Paste it. Hold on, yeah. Let me just delete. Okay, this is heal. Sorry, this is clone and heal and patch. Alright, I covered that already. This is the raw background. Okay, so a quick heal clone can actually clean up image fast, right? So let's say for example you still have a few more portion here, right? So what I typically does, right? What I typically do is that I do a quick copy, right? Paste the whole thing, right? Then now, right, I'm going to show you the Gaussian blur. Because sometimes, right, you want to add more so-called dreamy effects. I can take the whole image, right, and then I can do a quick blur, Gaussian blur. Okay, okay. Notice right now, right, it's still very blur, right? It's still fine because right, we want to keep it that way. Okay, blur sharp, right? But notice that it's smooth a few things up. So from here, right, I can use my eraser tool, but I don't really like eraser tool. So what I would normally use, right, is I use I will put a mask here, which is here, and then I will work on my, oops, sorry, oops, wrong button. Okay, brush tool. Okay, notice right now, okay, let me reduce opacity. I'm bringing the the effects that I want slowly. Yeah. Okay. Slowly bringing back the features, some of her features, yeah, that I want. Okay, I can always press X again, which is my white to, okay. So this is raw. This is what I added a bit. Okay, if it's too much, you can always reduce opacity. Okay, so this is the actual one. All right. So this last exercise is actually for you to practice cloning, healing, patching, and Gaussian blur. That's all.